welcome to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside me is Albert Cita and Guillermo Cita on this super, well, I can't say the SB word because isn't that trademarked by the NFL?
So be careful how you say any trademark word.
The day after the big game, right? So you guys
I didn't know it was trademarked.
Yeah, you can't even, like, that's why when you use like special contest or something like that, it's not, they use the big game package. Or
if you ever see like the hashtags and the contest, even the Mercedes-Benz one was something unique.
Be prepared because like only certain official sponsors of the NFL can use the term Super Bowl. But so I guess not in terms of 5 round MMA. Okay. We're talking about. So you guys a Super Bowl hangover?
No. I mean, none of my teams were in it. I was upset that I didn't win any money.
Yeah,
but for the most part,
I'm happy. I hate the Seahawks.
I mean, I don't care for the Patriots, but at the same time, I'm not a Washington fan either.
Seattle. Washington. The state of Washington.
Yeah, the state of Washington.
Okay. So bigger question: are you a hangover from Super Saturday? UFC 183, Diaz versus Silva. Silva versus Diaz.
No. I don't know. I read mixed reviews too about other fighters and other people, but there's no hangover to have.
Yeah, there was no hangover after Saturday.
I mean, it was. I wish people would go back to our old podcast and see after it came Velasquez fight. That is.
I think everyone missed the episode.
Right? I mean, those are MMA hangovers right there. I mean, I can barely talk. I mean, I can barely function after it came Velasquez.
All right, so we'll save our discussion for UFC 183 a little later on the show. But before we start this show, I want to thank our fine line of sponsors. First off, with Rocky and Green eco-friendly cleaning products. 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course the Redemption Martial Arts, the RMA Foundation. Before we talk about UFC 183, I want to begin today's show with a game I like to call the 5 Round Showdown. I wish we had music. We got music playing. Yeah. So the premise of this game, I have 5 questions regarding the world of MMA. Albert and Guillermo have no idea what is coming. I want their straight answers, straight from the hip, no holding back. So you guys ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready to play.
So first one. For the third time, the proposed UFC middleweight championship fight between Chris Weidman and Vitor Belfort has been postponed. Champion Chris Weidman has a rib injury that he was suffering during training camp for the February 28th bout. With the latest postponement, do you even care if this fight happens now? And with the second injury occurring while training, is Chris Weidman's title reign feeling a little disappointing to you guys? Guillermo?
Yeah, I feel a little bit disappointed. I mean, I've been waiting for Chris Weidman to, post Anderson Silva to solidify his reign at middleweight division. Yeah. But it's funny, you just talking about Vitor Belfort. I was just reading a quote from Vitor Belfort. My focus was always the middleweight belt, and I climbed the ladder to achieve my position. This is why I won't fight for an interim.
That's the next question we're actually getting. So, but like, just focus on. Are you disappointed that the fight's going to happen at all? Do you even care? Like,
I don't really care. I mean, I was never even excited. I was never excited for Vitor versus Chris Weidman. To be honest, I think Vitor, now that he's off TRT, prove it to me with someone else. Now that Chris Weidman's not available, let's see if he can beat someone without being on TRT.
What about you? Are you disappointed? What about even in Weidman's reign?
No. Since we're shooting here,
give me a shoot.
I'm extremely disappointed. Not because of the fact that I was looking for a Chris Weidman Vitor Belfort matchup.
Yeah.
It never really excited me that much. I'm disappointed because I haven't seen an exciting card in a long time. And no disrespect to Ronda Rousey and Kat Zingano, because I am a big Kat Zingano fan.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey always has an entertaining fight. I just feel like it's not. I wouldn't spend my $50 on the card that I see. And it's the honest truth. And I haven't seen a card worth paying $50. So maybe the whole Chris Weidman Vitor Belfort was kind of an incentive for me to purchase that $50 pay-per-view, and I really think it's not pay-per-view quality anymore.
Well,
from card, I'm saying the card. I'm not saying the fighter, because obviously Ronda Rousey is a pay-per-view fighter.
Yeah,
but I'm saying as a card as a whole.
Yeah.
Well, I think because fights get watered down anyway to begin. I think that's why that card seemed a little bit more exciting, because you had two pay-per-view quality fights.
So sticking with Vitor Belfort, like you said, according to Dana White, when he heard champion Chris Weidman pulling out of the title fight, he immediately called Lyoto Machida to set up an interim title bout with Vitor Belfort. And according to White, Machida accepted the bout without even hearing the entire pitch. Dana White said, "Hey, hello, Lyoto." Lyoto said, "Just send the bout agreement."
Yep.
And that was about it. So, and then when he went to go get the news to Belfort's camp, Belfort said, "No, we're waiting for Belfort. We're waiting for Weidman." So. Belfort saying that he will only fight Machida. It wasn't a matter of not fighting Machida. Is he didn't want to fight for the interim title. He said that the UFC should have stripped Chris Weidman of his title and him and Machida actually fight for the new world middleweight championship. So does Belfort have a strong argument here, or is he overreacting, guys?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
I think he's overreacting just a little bit. He has to face these guys anyway.
Yeah, eventually, right?
Eventually. I mean, that Chris Weidman's out. Just because you're the interim champion doesn't make you less champion as the champion.
True. Look, ask Fabricio Verdum, right?
Exactly. I mean, and if he's able to maintain this interim belt, he will fight Chris Weidman to unify him.
So Albert, your boy Machida could have another shot at title goal, but thanks to Vitor Belfort, it was shot down. So
first of all, to make my point, I'm gonna have to give you the long version of this story.
Okay, go.
So
quick synopsis of
the news broke that Chris Weidman was out of the bout because of his rib injury. Vitor Belfort was literally blowing up Dana White's phone saying, "Give me a fight. I want an interim fight. I need a fight.
Yeah.
And then finally he said, "All right, let me call somebody. Call Machida." Like Alex said, Machida didn't even hesitate. I think he was already packing his bags, ready to go. And then Vitor's camp canceled it.
Yeah.
So with that said, I really think it's a big disappointment here because Vitor Belfort should have stepped up, especially if you're the one out looking for the fight and not the other way around. So I think it speaks a lot about his character. And who cares if it was interim or not? Let's keep this division active. If anything, I think the stock goes higher. If let's say Vitor Belfort were to face Machida and he beats Machida, devastating or not, that adds up to him because Chris Weidman won, but split decision against Machida. I think the stock won and risen, not lowered.
The real question is, what does interim really mean to Belfort and to the UFC?
Yeah.
And if he answers that question,
Verdum is an interim.
It means the world name is going around basketball. He said that was in that Clipper game with the belt the other day.
Yeah. But that's my point. Is like if we had a clear definition of what interim means, then I can either go in favor of what Vitor Belfort's doing or go against.
Guy was always an interim champion.
True.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And there's no official timetable for Weidman's return, right? For last time I checked.
Yeah, because I guess this rib injury is kind of unique because it's not about having a broken rib. I think it's like ligaments or something.
Yeah, cartilage.
Yeah, something very very unique about the injury. Yeah. That's why the timetable is kind of.
And then, like you said, Dominic Cruz until he finally got stripped.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a little disappointed in the Chris Weidman stuff. Not that it's injury. People get hurt, but I just like I wanted to see this whole momentum we had after beating Anderson Silva.
And it's disappointing, especially when you hear the full story. The guy's looking for a fight. When they give him a fight, he turns it down. So why open your mouth then?
All right. So next one, Michael Bisping seems to be the most hated man in mixed martial arts. The count has a bout with CB Dalloway scheduled in April, but that hasn't stopped other fighters, more specifically Shogun Rua, for calling it out or for
That's
a catch.
That's left field, huh?
For a catchweight bout. Bisping took to Twitter to accept the potential catchweight bout. What is it about Bisping that other fighters just seem to hate? And does Shogun even have any right to calling people out nowadays?
I think this is. I think Shogun needs this though.
Really, I just got of nowhere.
I think he needs motivation. And
no better motivation than to punch Michael Bisping in the face.
Exactly, that's the best motivation you can ask for. But I don't know what it is about Michael Bisping. It's just his arrogance, I guess you could say. That even when he's sitting next to Anderson Silva in the post fight, I don't know if you guys saw it. It's like you could tell, like Anderson Silva, man, why did they sit me next to Michael Bisping?
Michael Bisping. There's something about it you can't until you see him in person.
Yeah.
However, what do you think?
Again, we're shooting here, so I'm gonna keep it real, and let's all be honest. The English people rub us the wrong way. They rub everybody the wrong way, and they wonder why
speak proper English.
And they wonder why we broke apart from England.
It was because of taxes, no?
Yeah, but they just rub us the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I think other than actors, because even some English actors just rub me the wrong way. I'm not gonna lie to you either. I think it's just that. English people just, I only eat English muffins, it just rubs me the wrong way. And I think a lot of people feel that way too.
It's funny his rant on English people, but it was not based on Michael Bisping.
Aren't you a Harry Potter fan?
Well, isn't Michael Bisping an Englishman?
Yeah, the cat. Shogun, does he have any right to call people out, do you think? Or just kind of like...
Well, I think
he's... Seriously, Shogun?
I think Shogun is in a special new category with Rampage and all these other fighters where... They're
too young though.
It's like not even 30, right?
It's crazy, but he's in the realm where like people still want to see him fight, but they don't want to see him actually try and get to a serious position because they know where he's at. And, like, I mean, he has had some devastating losses.
But I also see this as a good thing. There's been question about him moving down to middleweight.
Oh, wow.
So he's always been a little bit soft in the middle.
And I forgot who said he should try a weight cut, but a catch weight with Michael Bisping and then
could be on the way down. Yeah,
do a full weight down.
Sense. All right, so next one, ever man of the people, UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones held an impromptu Q&A session with his fans over Twitter the other day. He asked fans to rank their light heavyweight division, and in turn he gave his top 5, according to what Jon Jones thinks who the top 5 fighters in the light heavyweight division are. So he gave his answers. Number 1, Anthony Johnson. Number 2, Rashad Evans. Number 3, Daniel Cormier, and number 4, Alexander Gustafsson. Oh, the top 4, I guess. Sorry. So do you guys agree with his?
I'm assuming Jon Jones is number 1.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. He did rank himself number 1, so yeah. So do you guys agree with his rankings?
I'll take this first, Cameron.
Okay.
Because I'll make it very clear for you. What he meant to say was, these are from the people I'm scared of the least to the most.
Okay.
And that's how he ranked them. So if he were to flip that list the other way around.
So he's scared of Alexander Gustafsson
those are the people he's scared of the most and will never face the most. He's more likely to face Rashad Evans again than Alexander Gustafsson. Yeah. That's what he was trying to say.
Do you like his rankings?
No, I don't. I don't know how Rashad Evans gets there
without
being there so long and
it makes sense.
So much bad blood. But I think after fighting who he's fought, to have Anthony Rumble Johnson ahead of him. I know Rumble Johnson beat Gustafsson, but I mean, like, the fact that he hasn't fought him, I guess that's why he puts him 1. Yeah. But I think I agree a little bit with Albert that he ranks him at who he doesn't want to face.
Okay, so this is another interesting take. He also was asked to rank his 3 toughest opponents to date, and he actually ranked them.
And Machida's not number 1. You know, he's lying out of his team.
Number 1 was Alexander Gustafsson. Number 2 was Stephan Bonnar. Number 3, Vitor Belfort. And I don't know if it's a kind of a tongue-in-cheek type of thing, because last time we kind of dismantled Stephan Bonnar. But so tell me how you feel about those rankings.
I think that's even worse.
You kind of tongue-in-cheeky thing?
Well, especially when he's all like, I wouldn't fight Machida because that was a big puzzle for me.
Yeah.
So even though he really devastated Machida, beat him devastatingly.
He was scared to face him a second time. Let's keep it real.
But I think besides that one, you had to put Gustafsson and maybe Daniel Cormier. He made
Cormier was Stephan Bonnar was
again. Let me take you through his mindset.
I thought Stephan Bonnar was like a walk in the park.
I guess so.
I'm starting to feel like I'm a good punk analyst. I get these punk analysts pretty good.
People,
yeah. Okay. And this is what he's trying to say. He said Anderson first, so his list can seem legit.
Yeah.
And then he lists the 2 guys that people respected, but he knows deep down inside he would face those guys whenever.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to say the Machidas. He didn't want to say the Daniel Cormiers because then they'll probably potentially set up a rematch, which he doesn't want.
Yeah.
So. That's what he's doing.
I think maybe he's trying to get out of those rivalries.
Yeah, exactly. This is Jon Jones being Jon Jones, right? All right, so the last one. Anderson Silva returned to action this past Saturday, and not only was he victorious, he also took a stance against the UFC and the Reebok deal. As we all know, UFC and the Reebok announced the exclusive rights to dress.
Even Nick Diaz was wearing Reebok embedded.
To clothe the fighters on the UFC banner, but Anderson Silva said no, he would not wear Reebok because he feels no connection to them. He is a Nike man through and through. He wore Nike before he was sponsored, even after they dropped him as a sponsor. Nothing personally, but Nike just got away from the MMA business.
Yeah.
He says he still continues to wear Nike, will not ever wear Reebok again. So do you think Silva will get away with wearing Nike in the future? Because the official deal doesn't kick until July of this year. And you could like some of the stature of the Silva saying, you know what, no, I don't like this deal.
I totally agree. I'm wearing Adidas, but I mean, I'm a Nike man myself.
Yeah.
Once you go with the brand, I mean, like, it's just what you feel comfortable with.
That's what he said, yeah.
So, I mean, like, and with his stature and because of his age, I think Dana White would be like, okay, you're the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
I mean, just him alone, you hear his name, everybody's buying anything he purchases.
I mean, I think those Spider Rizzes and Again shirts are probably pretty hot commodity this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
what do you think? You like this Silva taking a stand? This is the first real stand somebody said, right?
I like that he's taking the stands, and I think he already took the stands before people noticed because the shirt he walked out to was a Budweiser shirt. And at the same time, he didn't accept the machine, but he had to take another sponsorship that UFC already has, which I think he probably didn't feel strongly about because I'm pretty sure he doesn't drink. Yeah. So he didn't mind wearing Budweiser because he was actually wearing a Budweiser sponsored shirt. So I think he just took an alternate route, but at the same time making a statement. I'm still not wearing Reebok. I'm still wearing one of your major sponsors.
Yeah.
But it's not Reebok. But to add to that, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This Reebok deal is every fighter must wear Reebok. It doesn't matter if you're Anderson Silva or GSP coming back. You gotta wear Reebok as long as you're inside the octagon and it's an official UFC bout.
Next time we see Anderson Silva, he will be wearing
Reebok.
Wow.
It might be small. It might be camouflage with the shorts, but he's gonna be wearing Reebok. Just like you can't get away from wearing the UFC gloves because those are official gloves that you can wear in UFC. There is no way around it. You can't bring in their Everlast. You gotta wear the UFC gloves.
I just think is UFC starting to look more like the NFL a little bit, where it's like, hey, no, only this is allowed. When I think that takes away from the personality, especially things that get these people more money that they're entitled to. Yeah. I mean, how long do you have of a career? Yeah. The thing that I like about soccer is you see all these different colors and they're like, oh, that's flamboyant.
Well,
but at the same time, the national teams stick to one. They wear different shoes, but the shirt and the shorts,
the uniforms stay the same.
That's how they can express their personality.
Yeah, but how they express their personality is by the color of the cleats, the brand of the cleats, the contract of the cleats that they get. They get personal deals on that. And I think that's a little bit different. If they can just do something where they can personalize and show at a fight, I think it'll not only give them more money in their pocket, but also show their personality.
All right, so that is it for this edition of 5 Round Showdown. I want everybody please stick around. We're gonna have all the fallout from UFC 183 Super Saturday. They even call it anymore Super Saturday? They're gonna drop that, right?
Yeah, they dropped that.
Yeah, the time is now.
Yeah, the time is now.
Just like WWE dropped the WrestleMania number, UFC dropped the Super Bowl.
So stick around.
Spider Sunday.
Yeah, Spider has Super Saturday. Stick around, guys.
Please visit 5roundmma.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. 5roundmma.com.
A spider has risen. The return of Anderson Silva. A successful return? Question mark, guys. UFC 183 is now over. Silva versus Diaz is now part of history. So I want to ask you guys initial thoughts on the fight itself.
The pay-per-view or the
main event? We're about to the main event. I'm riding the meat and bones of this, man. No appetizer. I want to jump right to the entree.
I was happy with it.
So we're not talking about Talis Lakers.
No. We'll touch on it a little bit. We'll work backwards.
I liked it. I liked the overall fight itself. I mean, I thought
a little strange in the beginning.
With that, I think I liked that though because it got me even more excited. But at the end of the day, the results, I didn't think it was fair judging. So
I felt this fight was like any other UFC fight that we've been seeing lately, where it had its moments, but overall it was disappointing.
Kind of like Jon Jones.
Just like DC, right? Yeah, it had its moments, but it did not deliver. Yeah. It didn't deliver what I expected. The same with this fight. Yeah, it had its moments with Diaz taunting and Anderson Silva doing a couple of strikes, but it didn't deliver. At the end of the day, I felt like I didn't get my dessert. Yeah, you know,
you can't tell.
I ate the lunch, but I didn't get my dessert.
A lot of the professional or the mainstream MMA media, when they're on Twitter with these, they kind of buy into the hype a lot. You can tell when the fight first starts, it got into it, and then they kind of slowly died down. Exactly when I saw this fight, I saw what Jon Jones.
I feel like a lot of UFC cards have been like this. Yeah. Cards, I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, these just don't deliver.
Yeah. So after 13 months, a lot of questions were asked about, Anderson Silva, should he return? How would we even throw a leg kick at all? So I guess just rate his performance. Were you guys happy? I mean, did it look like obviously time off? Did you guys see the ring rust? Was Anderson Silva old?
I just think it was more nerves more than anything else. I think Anderson Silva, once he got comfortable, I was like, oh, he's back.
Little Derrick Rose syndrome, maybe?
Yeah, so I think the rust is shaking off, the nerves are gone, and if he wants to take another fight, I think we will see a better Anderson Silva.
So is that what's next for him? He's going to fight within this year calendar year? Summertime? Fall?
I hope so, because I think that seemed to be the issue. I don't think it was so much that he lost a step. It was more like he didn't seem as comfortable as he usually would seem. Yeah. And I think that just has everything to do with the injury and the nerves. But I think after 5 rounds, I think he felt more. He would get more comfortable. So I do see him another bout, regardless of what he said about his family.
Do you think maybe not giving
he has more a fight?
Maybe Nick Diaz made him uncomfortable. Maybe about that, or no? You think just the style of Nick Diaz?
I think it was just one of those storm things where it was like, and I don't want to say it was just Nick Diaz. I think it was the injury, the fact that he hasn't fought in so long,
and he fought someone that wasn't scared.
Someone that wasn't scared. It's just a whole storm of things that kind of made him pull back. I think.
So you kind of touched on it too. A lot of people say you should walk away from this now. There's no going on while you're on top. Do you think Silva should walk away with this?
I got 2 fights for Anderson Silva. I know
hear him. I love him.
I know he said he's gonna talk to his family to retire or not. There's 2 fights out there for him. Vitor Belfort for the middleweight championship.
Okay, what about Chris Weidman?
Chris Weidman's out of the picture.
Okay.
Here you go, Chris Weidman. You want vacate or strip the title from Chris Weidman? Here you go, Anderson Silva. Get your title back. Go, Chris Weidman. That's the one route. The second route is George St. Pierre. And he ends it right there.
Right there.
I can only half agree with him because I think
those next for the spider.
GSP is the only thing that seems to me out there that why he would even ignore what his kid says. His kid can cry to his face turn blue. He'd be like, "Nah, man, it's GSP.
Yeah.
I'm facing this guy. This is money right here." And I think that's the only one that will really, really excite him to actually fight.
Yeah.
I think other than that, he might have one more bout in him, depending who it is. But I think GSP is almost 100% sure.
If GSP fight with Anderson Silva takes place in Canada or Brazil, they will make those guys will get $1 million buyouts.
Walking away $1 million, right.
Yeah. I mean, you can sell out the Dallas Stadium.
Oh, but I would definitely that fight has to happen either in Canada or in Brazil.
But I'm saying that's the only one I think that would. Really
I also think too. Anderson Silva has the benefit of being in a weak division right now.
I wouldn't say weak.
Well, I mean,
it's just very.
It's all over the place. It reminds you of the light heavyweight division.
There's no super young, hungry middleweight team. They're all pushing 30 plus. Luke Rockhold, Jacare, Machida.
Early 30s though.
Yeah,
early 30s, but they're all just entering their
prime. They're in their prime.
But nobody up and coming. So do you think? I think he can compete with these guys still, right? It's not like.
And that's my point. I was like, if right now, you don't want Machida, you don't want Musasi.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva had those freak injuries, or that freak injury. He might be the middleweight champion right now. So here you go. Yeah, if Dana White sees a long-term injury with with Chris Weidman, let's do it.
Yeah, because there's like a young crop of middleweights that can just take storm right now.
But on the flip side, I really do think Anderson only has 2 fights, maybe 3 in him.
Yeah.
And you have to be very selective of who he faces.
But if it's for the belt and GSP, I think those are very selective.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can kind of just throw him in there. I mean, it has to be clearly for the belt.
Yeah.
Or really not offer it to
him. I think we're forgetting too. You can go with 205 if you want to, right?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
There's not a fight out there that I would picture that would be appealing for Anderson Silva or payday.
Yeah. So I want to jump to the other man in this fight, Nick Diaz. I mean, this is the 3rd time he's been in a super fight like this, or 2nd time, and he comes up short again. So
super fight
or the high profile performance bout. So, but again, he always comes up short. So what's the point of being in these high profile fights if he's losing all the time?
The thing is, it's funny. That's the exact first thing Albert told me after the fight. But the thing is, Nick Diaz lost against the cream of the crop of those weight class. Carlos Condit, GSP. Now Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
I mean, these are elite guys, and he went the limit. To say, Nick Diaz doesn't deserve those fights, you're crazy. He's going to the limit against these guys, or he's going to all 5 rounds, and he's still, in good shape, and he can go 5 more rounds if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves another high profile fight.
Another high profile fight, or just get him winning his belt?
This is where I disagree. I'm a big smack talker on Diaz, and I don't give the guy enough credit, which he does deserve.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, why would we keep giving him these these big fights if he's not winning any of them? You get me? It would make sense to me if George St. Pierre would get these opportunities if he was winning, if he was, I don't understand why you keep Diaz's name comes up when we want to talk about super fights.
Yeah,
because it's like, why he hasn't won a super fight, so why? But
he never gets manhandled. He doesn't get dominated.
But what I'm saying is,
it's not a one-sided event or a one-sided fight.
But if he can't win the fights, where's the real? As a fan, why should I get behind this card?
But they're all
if he had a couple wins, devastating wins, or
Yeah.
more finishes, then I can be like, oh, you know
Yeah, but
what?
if you say Nick Diaz is getting finished from George St. Pierre, if you're getting finished from Carlos Condit, then
He's
let's
coming down short. Why would you want to keep watching a team that comes out short?
But then again,
like
even the Anderson Silva, I don't know how the fight got judged, and everybody says, "Oh, well, George St. Pierre just wrestled him because he was scared of Nick Diaz."
Yeah.
So I think.
What about Carlos Condit? He stood up with them.
Well, that Carlos Condit was a beast of his own that night.
At the time.
Yeah, but at the same time, he goes against these guys that are untouchable, that no one can get past the first round, and they get manhandled, and Nick Diaz stands toe to toe.
I mean, this is kind of, I think. Do you think the UFC he's not gonna hold out now, or because he even said too, I'm tired of losing. So do you think he'll take a fight with maybe not a top 10 welterweight at this point, not like a legend, they're the top pound for pound fighters, or maybe did you want a top 10 welterweight? Maybe give him a Tyron Woodley or something. Would you take a Tyron Woodley in a fight?
I think so. I think that's a high profile fight.
I think Woodley, but I think what you need to tell him is, look, if you face Tyron Woodley, you get Robbie Lawler for sure.
Yeah, and
I think that's enough for him to bite and take it because technically he has a win over Robbie Lawler, so you can sell that, right? Yeah. But at the same time,
you can sell it now.
Yeah, you can sell it now. But
you can't sell it for a title fight.
You can because Nick.
You really? Oh, you can't. That's twice.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. But I think if you for sure him that he gets the title shot, if he wins a Tyron Woodley, a Rory McDonald, something like that, maybe that's enough for him to bite, and then that would be more believable.
If you said Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz, you sell it at pay-per-view.
That's not the point. But
that's exactly the point.
If you want to sell Wolf tickets, that's the point.
That's the point. You keep purchasing those Wolf tickets.
So it looks like Nick Diaz, no matter what,
you'd be gladly watching too.
I think no matter what,
because of 5 round MMA. Keep it right.
Because it's professional.
I keep it professional. I don't want some of these cards I don't even want to watch.
We have to.
They're garbage.
Yeah, right.
But because for 5 round MMA, I want them.
So I want to jump down to the rest of the card. Just kind of entertaining cards from top to bottom. Tyron Woodley, I think, not really surprised people because he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
Took out Kevin Gastelum, who was missed weight again after winning.
That was pretty much a middweight versus a welterweight.
Yeah, pretty much. Gastelum was 9 pounds overweight. After he won the tough for middleweight, and he said, I'm going to be a welterweight. I think his first fight in the welterweight UFC, he missed weight and had trouble. So since that fight, Dana White said, you know what? Nope, too many times. You're now a 185er. Guillermo, do you like Dana White saying, hey, bro, you're 185er?
Yeah, I mean, they're professionals. They get paid to do this.
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley went through all the work, through all the weight cut, and for this guy to miss weight
that bad too,
and that bad, it's not fair for Tyron Woodley. It's not fair to these other fighters. Let's punish Calvin Gastelum. I think it's the right punishment without striking any fines, without putting any suspension on him.
Yeah.
So I think, hey, let's get back on middleweight. Once you prove yourself in that weight class, and if you want to really come down again, then we can talk. Yeah,
Albert, is Tyron Woodley kind of lost in this welterweight division? I mean, he has wins over Dong Kim, Kevin Gastelum now, Carlos Condit, Josh Costa.
I don't think he's lost, but I think he hurt himself a lot by not taking that Hector Lombard fight.
Okay.
I really think Tyron Woodley was on the brink of really stating where he is in the welterweight division. Yeah. But after he backed down for the Hector Lombard fight, I think in the UFC's eyes and the fans' eyes, it kind of said that he's lost. It's like, okay, if you don't want to face Hector Lombard, why should we think that you should face for the belt?
Yeah.
If you don't want to fight Hector Lombard, when Hector Lombard, even though they were teammates,
but
Hector Lombard said he will take the fight.
Yeah, but I thought that's why Tyron Woodley didn't take the fight.
I don't know. It just.
But now that you say that he's in the,
I think that shot him in the foot though, and I think he really needs 2 more wins to get back to where he previously was.
But now he has an opportunity for Hector Lombard anyway because we still have to wait for Lawler versus Hendricks.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Supposedly 3.
I'm going to jump to Kevin Gastelum. Is this kind of a big hit for his career? I mean, he's only 23 years old, but is it kind of a learning lesson for him?
I think it's a learning lesson. Yeah. But he's young enough. He's young enough to get a little bit wiser and smarter on his weight class.
And he could quote me. I think he's one fight, 185, and he goes back down to 170.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. People forget he had Mike Dolce when he made the initial cut.
And you can afford it, but he said it was too expensive.
He did say he was too expensive, but I think Mike Dolce just stopped taking his calls, to tell you the truth. I think that's what I heard. But with that said, I mean, he did have a bunch of fights where he did make weight. There's one where he missed, but he had 2 hours and he still made the weight. So technically he only had 2 fights where he missed weight.
Yeah.
But I think that has to do with immaturity. He needs to be like the whole John Henderson. He just got to be more stricter on his diet. Because if you see him, you know he's not
a big boy.
He's not the most slimmest guy in that weight division.
Yeah.
So I think he fights at 185 the next fight.
Wins, loses.
And he has to win. He has to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He has to win. and I think he goes and gets a good dietitian, and which works his way back up to
more of a lifestyle now, right?
I think it's a lifestyle choice rather than.
So I want to talk any other cards, any other fight on the cards. Ally Quinta's amazingly still winning somehow. I don't know why, but
Just
the jersey thing, I guess.
I just want to bring up the flyweight division. I mean, it's disappointing me.
Talking about another weight cut,
just because it's so all over the place. I mean, I really wanted it to start getting established somewhat.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's even more lost now because we lost Ian McCall because he clearly lost this fight.
Yeah.
And you can't argue for him for the title shot.
Yeah.
A guy that maybe you could argue for, which is John Lickler, didn't make weight.
He was like 5
and
pounds over.
Now he's a bantamweight.
And now he's being forced by Dana White to go to bantamweight. So
this flyweight just seems all over the place again, and it just sucks because it's a really exciting weight class and. It just doesn't seem
difficult weight class.
There's just no structure in this weight class.
There's no structure because there's not that many fighters in that weight.
And I think they're losing this weight class. They really are. I think they marketed it wrong. I think they put the cards in the wrong part of the fight.
Yeah.
And now I really do think they're losing this weight class. And it could be that this weight class could end. Really think about it. We lose Joseph Benavidez. And let's say for some odd reason there's no more other flyweights out there.
You tell me how many 25 plus people that are 125 that you personally know.
I don't know.
Well, you have to walk around around 140 because you can do a 20 pound.
Yeah.
Come on,
and that's still tough.
It looks like maybe Sergio Pettis is going to be hopefully the savior of this division.
Yeah,
man.
seriously, that's what it looks like.
He's cutting down to 125. Miesha Tate back on the continues her winning streak. I think a pretty big win over Sarah McMahon.
Yeah. And I'll give some respect to Miesha Tate. She said she didn't want no handouts. She'll gladly work her way back up. Respect on that. She even said, give me 3 more fights and we'll see where I'm at.
Talis Leites defeats Tim Bosch. Thiago Alves is still fighting, still winning. Derek Brunson almost murdered Ed Herman.
Less than a minute.
I think 36 seconds. I think he's like the second man in UFC history to have a submission under 1 minute and a knockout in 1 minute. So overall, I think pretty good card, right? Not a great card, but
it was decent. It was no pay-per-view count.
Topped up with a more anticipated main event that kind of delivered. But anyways, that is it. What's in store for next week? More fights.
We got Benson Henderson making his welterweight debut.
Yep, coming up real shortly, right?
Yeah.
Because he took his fight on short notice for lightweight, right?
Yeah.
And he dropped
and then he took even shorter of a notice for a welterweight bout.
So he begged Dana White for this fight.
Yeah, he really wanted to. I'm telling you, he wanted that welterweight debut.
I guess.
And I don't disagree with it.
Yeah. So I think that's it for this week. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 5RoundMMA. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. A big thank you to all of our sponsors and everybody for listening. Albert, what do you got?
I just want to say, after you listen to your podcast on Monday, make sure you quickly go to your network provider and watch WWE because Triple H is going to shake the core of the WWE universe.
Are they paying us for these plugs you're getting information? I hope so. I'm just getting checks from Vince McMahon.
I cannot deny or say that I do accept WWE checks.
Okay.
But just know that after our podcast, you might want to go check out WWE. Thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully you guys were going for the Patriots.
Cream of the crop.
To get grimy.